Give me some hope.
Hey Tom, how you doing today?
Great, Matt. How you doing?
Good.
I love September weather.
Yes, me too.
Man, it's just, I wish it could
Me
be this
too.
way year round.
Well, and we are like outside with Ellie every single day.
Yeah.
We've been taking her around the neighborhood, and she's just
Yeah.
eating it up.
Yeah. Now I realize that I've probably offended half of the listeners because this is a big allergy time for a lot of people too.
Oh, okay.
You know, when when weather changes and stuff. And so
Yeah.
when I say I love this
Yeah.
weather, I don't love people getting sick with allergies and stuff like that. But
Yeah, that's the boat I've been in this week. That's why
Have you really?
That's why my voice is so deep and
yeah.
rich.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So we're going to finish up the whole.
Yeah, let's
mini-
get on to something helpful here.
right. So just recapping, we've talked
Yeah.
about how God is emotional, so emotions aren't bad. Emotions are good. He gave us our emotions. We talked about the emotion of fear and how to work through that. That was 2 episodes ago. Last episode, we talked about the big front door emotion that people see a lot of is anger, how to handle your anger. And we're going to talk about today a backdoor emotion. And what I mean by backdoor emotion is it kind of slips in the house, then you don't really notice it.
Oh, okay.
But if you let it take over, it can lead to a lot of emotions that can bring a house down. And that emotion is the emotion of jealousy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So jealousy, it's listed in, we talk about Galatians chapter 5, the fruit of the Spirit. So right before the fruit of the Spirit, there's 9 fruit of the Spirit. When right before those 9 are mentioned, there are mentioned another list called the fruit, basically, of the flesh. Jealousy happens to be one of those.
Yeah.
It's included in that. And basically, to define jealousy, I'd say it's when I feel you are superior because you have something that I don't have, or when I think of things that others have that I lack, like looks or talent or health or height or money or connections. I mentioned height. I don't know why. I guess I just don't see a lot of people saying, man, I wish I was shorter. but anyway, something I don't have.
Jockeys.
Right.
Yeah.
If I wanted to be a jockey, right. So sometimes the problem is not that we have a problem that other people have things that we don't have.
Limbo all-stars. Sorry, I'm sure you're going to say something great, but my mind is stuck in this groove.
But I love it.
Yeah.
Because I've never thought of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, people could be jealous because they're not short enough to be a limbo all-star.
Limbo all-star. I'm sure that runs at midnight on ESPN 9.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it should.
Yeah.
That would be a great topic.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay, something helpful. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's
ahead.
good. So you think about the story of Cinderella.
Yeah.
Why is that story so timeless? Because it's true. There's jealousy in life everywhere, and the Bible talks about it quite a bit as well. Everyday examples of jealousy would be jealous of someone's appearance. One woman looks at another woman, and they're jealous of their appearance. It reminds me of that Brian Regan shtick, where he was talking about the info commercial on Sonic Ear or something like that, where the commercial had had one lady in a bathing suit walking on a beach and 2 other ladies laying on a towel, and they watch her walk by, and one whispers and says, boy, I wish I had a body like that or whatever. And Brian Regan says, yeah, that's what they're saying. They invented whispering for compliments. But just jealousy of appearance. Another common jealousy would be jealousy of someone's relationships. 2 single women might be good friends, and then one gets a boyfriend or whatever, and there's jealousy that takes place. Husband-wife relationships. her friend's husband treats her really great and she's jealous of that, or vice versa. Parent-child relationships, man, their kids just seem to be perfect.
Yeah.
Why are ours not perfect like that? What's wrong with us? Just jealousy of that. Here's one for you. I don't know that this ever happens. One minister getting jealous of another minister.
That can't happen.
Surely not.
Yeah.
I mean, I can honestly say I've never been jealous of another pastor saying, "Man, I wish I was pastoring their church," or something like that.
Yeah.
But I tell you what I have been jealous of. True confession here. I don't know if you have any background music to bring in this, my confession music. But I've been jealous of people who don't have to work on weekends. I've been jealous of people who can leave work at 5 o'clock and actually leave work at work.
Yeah.
And it just slips in sometimes.
Yep.
And the Bible's filled with biblical examples of jealousy. It starts in Genesis with Cain and Abel. Then you've got Rachel and Leah. Remember how they were both married to Jacob, which is not a good thing.
Right.
But the one that he loved, Rachel, could not have children. Leah could, and she was so jealous that it led to rage and bitterness and hatred. There's Joseph and his brothers. Jacob made Joseph that coat of many colors. They were jealous of him. King Saul versus David. The women singing when David comes in, or when Saul comes in. Saul's killed his thousands. David's killed his 10,000s. And Pharisees jealous of Jesus, handing him over to the authorities. Disciples jealous of one another. Who's going to be the greatest in the kingdom? I mean, it's throughout the Scripture. Isaiah about Lucifer, he was jealous. I will, arise to the and be God. And so jealousy leads to relational problems.
Yeah.
And if I were to say that your relational problems stemmed from one thing, you would probably say that's being oversimplistic. But I think that this is one of those things that enters into a lot of relational issues. James asked the question, what is causing quarrels and fights among you? And then he goes on and he answers it. Don't they come from the evil desires that are within you? You want what you don't have, jealousy. So you scheme and kill to get it. You are jealous, he says, of what others have. But you can't get it, so you fight and wage war to take it away from them. Yet you don't have what you want because you don't ask God for it. Because you don't ask God for it. I repeat that. Instead of asking for something, perhaps we need to ask God to fix our brokenness. And what in my heart is broken might succumb to jealousy. And so I've got to fix my heart. So I want to talk to folks today just about the progression of jealousy. And first of all, I think jealousy comes from, maybe not the very first thing, but this is definitely one of them. It comes from comparison. They have a nicer car, they have a nicer house, they have, more possessions, they make more money. At the very end of the book of John, Peter says to Jesus, "What about John? You say that I'm going to die a cruel death. What about him?" And then, Jesus answers that, "What's that to you?"
Yeah.
Quit making comparisons. Joseph and his brothers had, as we mentioned earlier, Jacob made that coat of many colors for Joseph, and Joseph shows it off to his brothers. Look what Daddy made for me, doo-dah. And so anyway, whatever he did, they were making a comparison that they were devalued. They were feeling devalued. And once again, as we talked about last week, you need to own your feelings. But they became jealous of him. Jealousy is not only an issue of comparison, but it's an issue of, it's fueled by discontent. And I think that one of the biggest challenges that people have today is we pollute our souls with discontentment, And what that results in is lust and greed for things that we don't have. And we must, and Paul said he has learned to be content. So contentment is something that you have to learn. And to learn it, you've got to learn to say no to yourself. And that's countercultural. I had to learn, growing up, I had to learn to be happy for somebody else. And I think that is something that exhibits true friendship, is when somebody celebrates your successes.
Yeah.
And, I grew up in a Christian home and, loved God, loved people, but when somebody had something that I didn't have, I had not been taught to be content with what I had, and I had not been taught to celebrate what they had. And so I think that, just as Paul said, I learned to be content. It's something that you have to learn, and one of the practices of it is learning to celebrate with others when they have success and when good things happen. Let me ask you this, and you do a great job of this, Matt. You celebrate others' successes of other people. Is that something that you learned? And if you did, who did you learn it from, and how did?
Yeah, that's a good thought. Yes, that had to be learned because that's not natural.
Right.
I think that my parents my parents were very good, at least with us, celebrating us.
Yeah.
Whenever we succeeded.
Yeah.
And they are not jealous people. They're not selfish people. So I think I came by that kind of naturally.
Right.
But they definitely were a huge influence in that, I would say.
Yeah. I would say I learned it from Rhonda.
Okay.
And I learned it from her family.
Yeah.
Not saying that my family was a jealous family. I don't think that they were, but we didn't celebrate like her family did, and celebrate other people's successes, and made a big deal about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the opposite of that is selfishness. Well, let's go to your brother's ball game. Well, I don't want to go to my brother's ball game. know, and so it was. But I would go. And I would want him to do well, but then, when he did well, I wasn't his biggest fan. Okay, he did well, But when I met Rhonda and saw her family, I liked that. I liked seeing that, and I thought, man, I need to do that in my own life. And so it was learned, and I think you point out you make a good point when you say it's definitely something that has to be learned because it's just not natural.
Yeah, sure.
The other thing about jealousy, I think it always tends to end with regret. Wasted time wanting what someone else has.
Yeah.
Wasted time disappointed with God that he didn't give you what you wanted. Wasted time it always results in a wasted life, I think. And so jealousy, I think, robs us of inner peace, and it keeps you from enjoying what you have. And it's always around, and it's always been destructive. And the answer is contentment, learning to be content. So I want to close out today with just talking about how to avoid jealousy.
Yeah.
Once again, it's just like anger. You have to be able to identify it. Where am I discontent in my life, and am I jealous of others as a result of that?
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. Before we do that, do you want to talk about some things going on around here?
That's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful segue.
Yeah, I know it's not the best segue in the world, but
No, and what's so funny is I brought that up. Hey, shouldn't we be doing some, a little advertising of stuff that we're doing?
That's right. I thought maybe you'd throw me a little bone there, Tom. But
well, and so that's why jealousy is wrong. What's going on in the church right now? I tell you one thing I'd like to throw out, and that is. When you start your day, how can you start your day in a very positive way? We've got a resource for you.
We do have a resource for you. Every single day, we have Daily Devo for you.
Daily Devo. It's a 3-minute spiritual shot in the arm, encouragement that hopefully can get your day rolling in a positive framework.
Yeah. All beautifully written, recorded, and curated by yours truly, Tom Hufty.
Well,
Hidden away in a walk-in closet somewhere in his house, recording devotional thoughts.
that's exactly how it happened. So if those daily devos had any kind of smell to them, it would be the smell of shoes.
That's right.
Because I could only find a quiet place in my house, which was in that closet.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it was great. So anyway,
Check out Daily Devos.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be helpful to people. 3 minutes a day, start your day off that way, and it'll keep you from being jealous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we have, speaking of devos.
Okay.
We've talked about doing some video devos too.
We have,
which we are working on right now. I don't have anything firm to report on that, but just all that to say, get ready because we're going to be producing some video devos.
I'm excited about that content. Yeah, I really am. That's going to be fun.
Absolutely. And anything? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Anything else you want to talk about going on around the church right now? I mean, we're coming up on October here.
Yes. And we have the outdoor service that we're planning October the 17th.
October the 17th. And then I think we have to talk about Trunk Fest too.
Yes.
Because
the Saturday before Halloween, October the 30th.
October the 30th, yeah.
In the afternoon. Mm-hmm. Going to be kind of a drive-through Trunk Fest, which we did last year, which was so much fun.
Yeah, it is.
I still, on my time hop on my phone, have tons of pictures and videos of, as we would greet people coming in, because I know you were greeting people as they came in, and I had the opportunity to do that as well, and all those different costumes. And so lots of candy. Good. October the 30th. It's in the afternoon, right?
It is. I think it's 2 to 4 p.m.
2 to 4. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be awesome.
And I've got a little girl she will be excited.
Yeah.
She doesn't know it yet, but she's going to be excited to be there.
Yeah, and then in the early years ahead, when you get the opportunity to explain to her, people give away free candy. And she's going to think that's the most wonderful thing in the world.
Yeah.
So, cool. So back to the wrap up.
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about now.
Okay, we're going to wrap up this whole jealousy thing as we wrap up our whole series on emotions.
Yeah.
So let me give you some steps and how to avoid jealousy. Number 1, just thank God for what you have.
That's a good one.
Take a look at what you have. I think many times the reason we're so discontented is because we've not stopped to thank God for what we have and consider what our life would be like if we did not have His blessings.
Yeah.
And so I think number 1 is just thank Him for what you have. The second we've already talked about is learn to be content. And how do you learn to be content? Well, you don't focus on what you don't have. You focus on what you do have. And then when you see the goodness of God in someone else's life, you celebrate it. That's going to help you learn to be content. And then the last thing is just replace your desire to have to a desire to give. Just develop that grateful heart. Jealousy is not caused by something that someone did to us. Jealousy is self-inflicted. And when you choose jealousy, you're making the wrong choice. And it's going to come in the back door, and it can make the house crumble if you don't watch out. So learn to be content.
Well, Tom, this has been a great series.
It's been fun.
Yeah, and let's do it again sometime.
Okay. Yeah.
When we need more content.
Sounds great. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.